What's up, guys? Today we're going to go over how to make an iron farm. This farm is designed to be a more mid to late game farm, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it early game. Excuse me. Essentially what we have are basically 9 independent iron farms that are far enough away from each other so that they don't end up clogging up each other's iron golem spawning to maximize efficiency. And then we have a funnel that funnels them all into a central area. Sometimes 2 can get stuck in these little corners here, but they work themselves out eventually. The funnel funnels them to a central area where they then get lava bladed. The soul sand allows us to take all of their items into hoppers. The hoppers takes them into our central like AFK room, which this can be on the ground. I'm bad at math and built it way too high up in the air. This can be on the ground. The AFK room auto sorts the poppies from the iron bars, which go to this side. Because I have no use for a huge amount of poppies, I automatically put them in a composter. The composter then puts bone meal in a auto crafter, which crafts them into bone blocks for storage purposes, because you're going to end up with a lot of bone meal. The other side does the same thing, where it crafts iron bars into iron blocks. Those iron blocks go into the chest, and I think the compression into blocks is necessary because this is like 25 minutes of operation worth. So all with that together makes a pretty fast farm. We have about 4,000 iron ingots per minute, or per hour rather. Maybe put on a pot of coffee because we're going to be here a while. It requires a lot of stuff, a lot of glass panes. It's going to be a fun time. All right, so for the materials you're going to need 64 plus 44 rails and 36 power rails. These are the rails that are permanent for the zombies to go around in circles forever. I have them over here as well. You're going to need a lot of them, especially power rails, in order to get the zombies and the villagers up to where they need to go. But once you do that, you can take any of the power rails and normal rails you use to do that away. So those aren't permanent. You're going to need this many permanently, though. This is, I think, 441 or almost 7 stacks of slabs. And these are so that the zombies don't burn in the daylight. I think I realize now that I don't think those actually need to be slabs. Those can just be any opaque block. So you could use those not as slabs. I use slabs, so I put them in the materials list. You're going to need 17 signs to block the flow of water. 45 beds. They don't stack, so I couldn't get 45 next to it. You're also going to need 45 trapdoors. 7 furnaces for the hoppers in here. Those are optional, but they're just a nice touch for lag stuff. 11 chests, 9 soul sand, and not soul soil, soul sand specifically, because it lets you pull items from hoppers above it. You're going to need 2 crafters, 37 redstone torches, 22 redstone dust, 25 hoppers, a composter, 2 levers, which are also optional, 3 comparators, and 5 repeaters. Now you're going to need 9 zombies, and you're going to need a bunch of villagers. You really only need to kidnap 2 of them from a village, and then you can breed the rest of them. But you do need to get villagers. You're going to need 9 minecarts. These also don't stack. 9 minecarts for the zombies that just go around in circles forever. You're going to need a bunch of water. You're going to need 1 bucket of lava. You're going to need a lot of glass panes, and I mean a lot of glass panes. It's basically 100% glass panes. You're going to need normal glass too, and you're going to need a bunch of some sort of opaque block. Yeah, the good news is that glass panes are cheaper than normal glass. The bad news is that it's made out of glass panes. I'm sorry about that. All right, so we have to start somewhere. I started with outlining the room that you AFK in, as well as the room that the golems will fall into to burn in lava. This room right here needs to be 7 blocks wide. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 9 blocks wide, including the walls. It only really has to be 3 blocks deep. I usually like to give myself more space in case I want to add like crafting tables and furnaces or whatever. And just more space to AFK in. This area right here will be 5 by 5. And I centered it on this room. We'll build this room last, I think. I just wanted to have a reference to where we're going to build the rest of it. I think we'll work top down though. So from this middle block right here in the little like killing chamber, we're going to want to go up 36 blocks. So like this one would be like 1, 2, 3. And the 36th block will be the actual floor of the spawning platform. Because we need to get up there with minecarts for the zombies and stuff later, I recommend just making a staircase now that you can put a minecart rail on. When you round corners, make sure that you give yourself 3 leveled blocks so that you can turn the rails, because power rails can't turn. So you need to put a normal rail there. And they also can't turn when they're like up. I think you might be able to do it like this, but I just do 3 in the corner like that. So we're going to go up 36 blocks, and we'll be on this middle block here as a starting point. So from this block, what we want to do is we want to build down into like above the like room that you'll AFK in, and then to the right. However many blocks you will build will be 8 on one end and 8 on the other end. So the walls will be 9. So if you count this block, it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we're going to fill this in. This is the spawning area for the golems. And I use 9 blocks because it is like optimized for the water. And then it also gives it a big enough platform for the golems to spawn in. This will be gone. So now that I have this, I'm going to break all of these blocks because we don't need them. And when you have the staircase, you're going to have to get villagers and zombies up there at some point. I think we'll do that last because it's really awkward to have them running around while you're trying to build everything else. And like golems might be spawning and stuff, and it's just a mess. So I'm going to put them in there last, but we're going to need them up there eventually, all the way up here. Just for fair warning. Okay, so this platform up here, what we want to do is use glass panes on one block out of it. So if I go out, we're going to put glass panes 1 block out. You don't need to put them on this block here, but you can if you want to. If you think it looks better, you can do that. You don't have to though. And they need to be glass panes and not actual glass, because the glass panes are shorter than a block, of course, and that matters because otherwise the golems will spawn inside of the walls, and then they'll get stuck, and then that kind of breaks it, like clogs it up. So I use glass panes for that. I apologize. This is really, I always hate building with glass panes because it gives you such a small like surface area to build on, and it's actually the worst. We're going to build up 2 blocks. We only need 2 blocks. This is just so that the golems don't get out somehow, and also so that the water doesn't like flow out or whatever. So only 2 blocks high, and you can watch me suffer building with glass panes. All right. I actually hate using glass panes so much. It was the only block that had both the properties of being glass and not being a full block. Okay. So when we have a little chamber that looks like this, what we want to do, and you don't have to fill it up with water now, but I might as well do that. On the side that your AFK chamber is in, right here, we're going to want to put a full line of water in the corner, like that. And then, so then from the corner, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and put another one. My shaders make it really hard to see the flow of the water, but basically they'll get pushed into this corner here. And like the player gets pushed really slowly for some reason. The golems get pushed way faster. And then we'll have 1 block missing right here. There's no need for signs or anything because it's 9 blocks instead of 8. And the golems can fall through this because they are glass panes. Okay. All right, so now that we have the spawning platform, what we want to do is go onto the side that is looking over the AFK room. And actually, I don't think there's any reason why you couldn't do it on any of the other 4 sides. You just have to like be consistent is all. Make all of them that we eventually make the same. What we want to do is go to the middle block, which is this one. And we're going to want to build up 2 blocks above, or rather 3 blocks above the wall. So 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to place glass there for now. So there's 2 blocks in between, and then there's a 3rd block for the actual wall. We're going to build, and don't use glass for this, I'm just getting the sizing correct. We're going to want 4 blocks here, and then the blocks that are closest to the edge are going to be beds. So we have 5 blocks across here, and it's centered on one side. And then what we want to do is make another ring around it, and this will be where fence posts go. And these will also extend over on the sides here. So you want to build this thing here. And then we put beds, which you can do by holding shift and placing them facing that direction on the bottom. Okay. So we have this. This is, of course, where the villagers are going to go. I don't have fence posts, but we need fence posts. The color doesn't matter or anything. And actually, instead of in this corner, I was using 2 glass blocks here. I don't actually know if these are needed, but it was working. So, you know, might as well. We have fence posts here. We put glass here. I don't actually know if this section right here is necessary, but you might as well give your villagers some space to roam free. You know, I don't know if it's necessary though. And then finally, above the beds on this like second block, we want to place filler blocks that we don't intend on keeping. And then we want to place trap doors. I don't know if it matters if it's top or bottom, but I just like to keep it consistent. I put it on the bottom, and then we want to put them up, and then we break these blocks. Okay. So this is where the area that the villagers will be in, and then we're going to build next to the zombie area that the zombie will be around. We will do the villager like breeding and getting them up here later, but this is where they're going to go. And then next, what we want to do is make it where the zombie is going to be. So off of this block right here, we're going to want to go 4 blocks over, and then 1 block over that direction. And also, I forgot to mention, this being glass is important. When I said don't use glass, it's only on these blocks because they're going to be beds. All of this being glass and these being fence posts does matter, because if they're not glass, the iron golems might spawn up here, and that would clog up the spawning. Likewise, down here needs to be some sort of opaque block. So don't use glass for this bottom part. I'm using quartz bricks, but that could be any block that isn't transparent or like bottom slabs or something. So sorry if that messed it up. Okay, so yeah, this needs to be glass, or some other non-spawnable block that isn't slabs. Okay, so with this one, similar to the glass there, we're going to want to use glass here. So 3 blocks away, or 4 blocks away, or 3 blocks in between, we're going to want to build 5 blocks here, and then we do a ring that is 5 blocks on every side. And then we put 4 more glass blocks here, and this is where redstone torches go. This will be a rail system that the zombie will just go in circles in. And we could just place that now. I'm totally prepared with all of my rails in my inventory and stuff. Okay. And then you just put power rails on these areas. I don't think you need 4 power rails. You could probably get away with 2. I think 4 looks better. And then I use normal rails on the other ones. And then we put a redstone torch of some sort. Whoops. Oh my gosh. On these ones to power them. So yeah, the zombie will just go in circles around this one, and they will be able to essentially panic the villagers, and then they'll go far enough away where the villagers can get unpanicked, sleep, and do whatever they need to do, and then they'll come back and panic them again. So with this, because it's a zombie, we don't want them to burn in daylight. So now we do want slabs. I like the look of stone, of what is it called? Smooth stone slabs. What we want to do is go up 10 blocks above this thing. Or rather 10 blocks like above the villagers. So I just go over the rails. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we'll do 1 more on top with the slabs. You can break those. This is obviously much easier because I'm in creative and can fly. I apologize for how difficult this is going to be in survival. Okay, so then these slabs we want to build over this area. So this is the corner. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we build a circle like this. And this is just so that the zombie doesn't burn during the day. I also don't trust that they don't like go over the block a little bit. So I do a ring around it, because my rails are always a little glitchy and they like sometimes go off of the rails on like one side or another. So I just do another ring around it so that they don't like go out of the hitbox and die over time. So that's a 7x7 little like hanging over thing that they can have from the sunlight. The reason it's so high is because the villagers, when they try to spawn the golems, they'll look vertically 6 blocks, and the slabs will make it where they can't spawn golems, but they will attempt to spawn a golem, which takes away the spawning chance. It makes the spawning chance less efficient. So that's why it's so high. Make it at least looks like 6 blocks from here, but I just did 10 to be safe. So yeah, so this is essentially what we need for one of the spawning platforms. In this case, we're going to need to go get the zombie and the villagers to put up here, but we'll do that in a minute. All right, so now that we have one of the spawning platforms as well as the zombie and the villager platforms, we're going to need to build 8 more of these, which is just great. So I'm not going to show myself building all 8 of them, but I will show you exactly where to put them. So it's going to be on a grid. From this bottom corner right here, so like if you go on here and then from this corner, you're going to want to put 15 blocks in between this one and the corner of the other one. So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 16. And then what we want to do is make an exact replica, rotation and everything, of the platforms over there. So I'll just build that platform. So we go, and this is the corner. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for a total of 9. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll fill this in. And we're going to do it the exact same way that we just did. So in this case, you could probably just rewatch the building that part of the video if you forget exactly how, or you can just go check what you did over there as a reference, which is usually the faster way to do that. So we do that, and then rotation everything. The block where the golems fall is there, so this block will also be gone. And then, of course, you do the glass panes. You do this platform, you do this platform, and you do this platform all in the exact same way. So you do it on a grid. This is the middle one right here. So you'll have one out that way, one out that way, one out that way, one out that way, and then you'll have the 4 corners as well. So because this is the middle one, you want this to be the middle one, just so that the funnel is in the middle right there. So it'll go out this way, and it'll do 16 blocks that way, 16 blocks that way, etc., etc. So I'll show you what that looks like after I finish building it myself. All right, so I've gone and made all 9 of these things. As you can see that they are on a grid where they're each 16 blocks away from each other. Whoa, that's weird. And that means there's 15 blocks in between the bottom of the 2 things. So as I showed before, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The 16th block being this block. They are in line with each other. So that it's either only moving in the X direction or the Z direction. And the one that we built first is the one in the center. And then I built one all around it. You're probably thinking to yourself that this looks like we're just making 9 individual iron farms. And yes, that is exactly what we're doing. There's nothing stopping you from making another ring to make 25 of them. The only thing that would change is the funnel system that we'll make in a minute here. And you might want to make it a little bit higher, or you're going to have to make the room down there a little bit lower, but there's nothing stopping you from doing that. Next, I think we can make it where we have zombies and villagers. Maybe we want to make the funnel system first, though. Either that, or we just plug up the blocks. I say we do the getting the zombies and villagers up here first, because the funnel system might get in our way. So this will just consist of a rail system. What I'm going to do is from the bottom, I'll make a staircase kind of like this, and I'll just make a railway all the way to the top, which I'll just do offline so it's faster. All right, so I made the railway staircase. I should have mentioned before this, if you have a better way to get the villagers and zombies up here, or a way that you prefer, feel free to do that. This is my favorite way to get them up here. It's simply just making rails. It's more tedious than like doing other things. But I find because the zombies already have to be in a minecart anyways, this is just the fastest way. At the top here, what I did is I made it where 2 blocks above one of the corners here, or one of the straightaways. And what we can do is we can just have the zombie get dumped onto it so that we never have to touch the zombie ever. And I'll show you how you can get it in there. And also I use levers to power all of the power rails on the side. All of this is temporary. Like once we get all the zombies up there, we can break all of these and we can get all of the power rails back. So we don't have to like use these and just have these stay here. Okay. So my favorite way to trap zombies is you use rails. What I do is I usually just do 2, 3x2 by 2 boxes like this. And you put them diagonal like this. I don't think the shape matters, but them being diagonal does matter. This is on the wrong one. Hold on. And what you want to do is put it where the rail goes into the corner on one side, and then you have water that pushes the zombie into, or the villager, into the corner on the other side. I find it easier to get the zombie in to the hole if you add trapdoors because they think that they're a block and then they fall in. And then we want to power this, which I can do with the lever. And then what you do, and I'll demo that, is you have a minecart ready to go and you push it in. It'll grab the zombie and then bounce back. And because we already have the top ready to go, we never have to touch the zombie, which is good if you're like in a hardcore world or something. It just makes it a little less dicey. So I'm going to change to nighttime, and then that's really dark. Time set midnight. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay. So let's grab a zombie. And I have to switch into survival so he follows me. Okay. You. All right. So yeah, we bring him in. And if you have, like I've said, if you have a better way to do this, then feel free. He'll get pushed into the corner, and then we make sure that all of the rails are powered. I'm including these ones, and then we push the minecart in and get out of the way. It'll grab him, and then it will just yoink him up into the thing. And then we can go make sure that he gets dumped off properly. Hopefully he will, and I didn't just do that for nothing. Yeah, okay. And then he got grabbed. I saw that it was really slow right here. So maybe you bring it out by one block so that they get dumped onto the power rail instead of this one. But see, we never had to touch the zombie. It was decent. It'll be more dangerous if you're actually in a survival world because more mobs will be spawning. But that's usually how I get the zombie up here. You're going to need to do that for all of these individual zombie things. I apologize for that. I figured once you have the staircase and the infrastructure down there, it's easy enough to just make this go somewhere else. But it does make the farm way more efficient to use 9 of them rather than just one zombie going around like the entire place. So I'll do that real fast myself and totally won't cheat using creative. All right, so now that I've done that, I think we can get the villagers in. We probably should have done the villagers first, actually, because they might get scared, but you can just block this off so that they don't see the zombie. And the reason I say this is because usually you only want to take 2 villagers, and then you can have them breed using food, so you don't have to bring them up individually. What I would recommend doing is using the same system here. We have to move this over, and we can probably, I think, just do this. They'll be stuck in the minecart, but then you can go over and break it afterwards. And I'll just make sure that this works so that we make sure that it works. You can use the same thing down here. This works for most mobs, which is really convenient because I love this design here. What you usually do is you do this in a village, so I'm sorry for that. You have to go nap a villager from a village. I think this system works fine. You just have to push them into the hole. And the minecart or rail system might be super long, but it is possible. I've done it great distances before, and it's really tedious, but it does work. So yeah, a villager, you just push them into the thing. Wait till they're in the corner before you push the minecart, and we'll see if this works in dumping them into one of the villager things. And then you can cart more than 2 up, of course, and that might be a little bit faster depending on where your village is located. I usually just breed them, but that just takes forever, especially to get 5 per each one of these things. Yeah, so then once they're in here, you can just break the minecart. They're going to be panicked because of the zombie, and I'm not sure if they breed if they're panicked. So I'd recommend just maybe putting some temporary blocks here. So that they can't see the zombie and they are fine, and then they can sleep. Maybe not. Maybe you have to block these ones too. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna spawn another zombie or a villager up here. If you don't know how to breed them, I think you just can give them food. I think you just take a whole bunch of bread or something and you just throw it at them. I don't know if they're gonna do it while they're sleeping. Let's see. Time. Oh, he just took all of my bread. Cool. He did not leave any for the other guy. All right. I'm going to throw all of my bread. I don't know how much bread you need. And then they'll do that. There's a timer. I think it's like 5 minutes or something. So it is a tedious process. I usually go AFK and watch TV or something. So what you want to do is get 5 villagers in each one of these little pockets. What you can do is make a little like tunnel to the other like pockets. So you just make a tunnel like this, and then you break the fence posts, and you can have them walk across to the other one. Either that, or you suggestively nudge them over to the other side. And then they'll claim the bed, and then you can do the same situation, and then you can populate all of these areas. So once we have that, we'll basically be almost ready to go. The only thing left is the funnel system and the room down there, which are honestly more complicated, but they're not too bad. Okay, so I have populated all of the little villager things. I definitely didn't cheat in creative at all. I also blocked off all of the things so that they can't see the zombie. There's nothing wrong with them seeing the zombie at this point. They would just be spawning iron golems, which will be kind of annoying. If you don't feel like blocking them all off or whatever, you can block this block, of course, while we're making the funnel. We don't really want the iron golems getting in our way. And then if they end up getting out, you have to kill them using lava so that the village doesn't hate you and stuff, and it's a whole mess. Okay. So at this point, we can get rid of this minecart or this rail system because we don't need it. You can, of course, keep all the rails that you want for later. I'm in creative, so I don't care. I'm just getting this out of our way a little bit. But now what we want to do is make the funnel system. And the funnel system is basically just a way to get all of the iron golems down into the central area down there, which is centered on this center spawning platform. Okay. So I'm going to remove the railway, and I'm going to go get into my other world to remember how far down we have to go first. All right, so now the first thing we'll do is I'll first hit record this time, and then what we want to do is choose one of the side spawning platforms. You can do the middle one, but the middle one's really simple, and I want to show the more complicated one first, just to get it out of the way. So one of the side ones, it can be one of the corner ones, it could be any side. Depending on which side you start on, it might like rotate your funnel system relative to mine, but that's perfectly fine. So we take one of the side ones and we place glass panes to kind of complete this 3x3 hole here. And then from this, we want to go down 15 blocks, starting at this like bottom of the platform. The 15th block being a actual floor. So 14 with glass panes. The whole thing has to be glass panes except for the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, please. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15. This block can be glass if you want it to be. There's no like spawning requirements or anything for this block. It's going to be 3 wide, and we'll just do the 3x3 blocks there for the glass panes. Now I'll bring all the glass panes up, and I promise I'll only force you to watch me struggle to place glass panes for one of these. Okay. All right. We'll go down this one. Now I should also say that on the side that your killing chamber is going to be on, you want to place 3 blocks here. This is just temporary for my reference. These are not going to have glass panes on them. So I'm just placing blocks here so it's easier for me to build the glass panes. We'll get rid of those, and that's just so that the iron golems can get out. And that'll be going into the direction that your killing chamber is. So bring the rest of these up. Actually, it's probably easier if I build on the side of this. All right, and then build these ones. We'll build these ones. This is very painful. Pun intended this time. Okay. All right. So now that we have that, we are going to then have this platform be 7 blocks long from this center block. Basically, we're going to place water here, and we want it to flow for 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll bring it out on the sides. Then what we want to do is we'll go down a level. And this is just because water flows 8 blocks, so we want it to pour down a level. This can be tested. If you place 1 more block over, it should only... Oh, yeah. You need to place the walls first. All right. First, we'll place the walls. I do 2 glass panes. I find if you only have one level, like one layer of glass panes like this, the golems can get out. So, but with 2, I've never seen one escape. You could make like a full like roof and stuff if you want to. I don't see any, like, I have no reason to do that, but it might look better or you might feel more comfortable if they're not in the outside world or something. So with 2 of them, 2 layers, we can pour the water, make sure it only pours to this block and nothing else. So now on this level, we'll do the same thing. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we're just doing this until we reach the center of this killing chamber. That is effectively what we're doing. Okay. So we'll do 2 layers of glass panes again. And then we're going to need to do 3 layers on the drop downs. So like these layers. So I think do 2 blocks over so that you have 2 blocks that are that have 3 levels of glass panes. I find if I only have 1 level or definitely with 0 levels, or like 3 over, it allows the iron golems to get out, and that's not good. So I do 2 over so that you have 2 blocks that have 3 tall glass panes. We can let the water pour down again. So we'll go down again, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think we're, yeah. Same exact thing. We do first layer of glass panes, second layer of glass panes, and then we'll do 2 blocks of 3. Okay. So now this one, what we want to do is just go to the point where it goes to the center of the killing chamber, and maybe 1 block away from it. This part I've actually never built before, so we're gonna figure it out together. Which I think is 2 blocks down. Like you go down and then you go out 2 blocks. And I'll double check this. If I like get on the side and I fall, I should end up falling on one of these edges. Okay. That means the center funnel will be different. So actually, maybe we do go to the center. So we do 1 over. So we'll go 3 blocks. So now if I drop down, it would be on the center row there, or center column or whatever. We'll do the same thing with glass panes. 1, 2, and then 2 there. Okay. I'm going to block this off just so that I don't have water in my face. So now that we have this, what we want to do is we want to copy it on the other 2 spawning platforms that are in the same like row. Or if you're on a corner, it can be like if I did build it here, either you do the same thing on these ones, depending if you went it that way, or if you went down and then over that way, you do it on these ones. So like, yeah, so we copy it over to the side that that goes into the center of the killing chamber mainly. So I'm going to copy it on this one and this one. You also want to go to the exact opposite side. So in my case, it's these 3, and we want to do the same exact thing again, but mirrored so that they go into each other. It'll be the exact same building. Use glass panes, 7 blocks wide every time. Whoops, totally broke that. So I'm just going to copy those over now so you don't have to watch me struggle placing glass panes. All right, so I went and copied over the same exact building to the 2 spawning platforms on the same side, and I also mirrored it on the other side of the like 9 spawning platforms. You should have something that looks like this. It might be rotated compared to mine if you're standing over there, or you rotated it or whatever. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I hate building a whole bunch of stuff and cutting the video like that. I feel like I'm making a Redstone tutorials be-like video. I just didn't want to take forever. So now what we want to do is build the middle funnel here. So essentially what we're going to do is I'm going to block off the water just to make it where it's not annoying. So what we're going to do is get rid of these 3 blocks and these 3 blocks, and we're going to replace them with glass panes. Basically, we're just doing the like tube, the 3x3 tube with glass panes all around it. We're just extending that over. We're going to go down 2 blocks, one of them being glass panes, and one of them being a quartz or whatever you're using floor. And this is just so that when the iron golems get pushed over, they go down and then they can't get back up. I might just test that real fast to make sure that that is actually the case. This glass pane wall, I want to put up to the same side or the same height as these two. So I think that's 4 in total. And that's just so they don't get out. This side we'll leave open. These corners shouldn't change. And then we'll do the same thing that we did on these ones where we go 7 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I think I'm going to try that real fast just to make sure that the iron golems are not going to get out. We're going to build 2 high glass panes on the wall of here, of course. Same exact thing. And then I'm going to put water. I'm going to spawn an iron golem because I'm curious. You might need... I don't think you need signs for this water right here, but it might help the iron golems go down faster. I'm going to leave it without that, but I can also see the iron golems being able to get out, like if they go here, you know? So in that case, either make a sign. There's 2 solutions to this. You can find the signs. You can put a sign in the middle here, so that it looks like that, or you can put glass panes on the side here so that they cannot get out, and I'd probably make it 4 tall. And I think I like this better. So they're 4 tall. So there's 2 blocks, this one, that are 1, 2, 3, 4 tall. I'm going to get rid of this sign because I don't like the look of signs on glass panes. I just want to make sure that they won't be able to get out, so I'm going to spawn one real fast. I never know where the iron golems are. Iron golem. Okay, so spawn one here. He's going to get pushed in. I'm just going to make sure that he can fall through the water. And yeah, he'll come out kind of far, but he'll fall down before these panes end. And then, of course, he can get on top of that. I will deal with him later. I'm sorry, my man. Okay. Out of sight, out of mind. So now what we're going to do is just do the exact same thing we did on these sides. So this is 7 over, so this should only float to that one. We're going to go down. And then we'll do, I'll move this up. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we should go down again. And then going out 3 should mean that this block right here on the edge is the center of this one, which it is, which is good. Because that is exactly what should have happened. And if it didn't happen, I would have been sad. We're going to go do the glass panes the same way as we did before, where we do 2 high, except for the 2 blocks after a drop off, which is 3 high. I'll do this thing again on that side just to show it again in case that was confusing, because there's a lot of stuff there. Okay, so 2 high. I'm gonna make you watch me place glass panes, which is very sufferable. Okay. And now we're gonna add the 1, 2. 1, 2. I can probably add that. Like that. Get blocked off. 1, 2. Whoops. 1, 2. 1, 2, and 1, 2, and that should be it. Okay. So I'll go do the other side, and then we'll deal with these 3 spawning platforms. So let's see if I can remember what I did. So first I blocked off the water just to not be annoying. We replaced these 3 blocks with glass panes. We go down another block with glass panes. And then we go down yet another one with the floor. And then the floor is 3 blocks wide. We put glass panes on these 2 sides. We go up this one by 4, I believe. And that should be in line with these ones. But not these ones. It can be if you want that. It might look better. It might not. I don't know. Okay, and then we go from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just to extend this out. And then these 2, so like it'll be 2 layers like normal. But then these 2 blocks, the ones that are immediately after this side, will be 4 tall. And that should be in line with this line right here. So in this one's 2. And then we go up 2 more. Okay. Now this you do the exact same way, where you do down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and down 1, 2, 3. and that should take you to the exact same spot, and it should be symmetric with this one. I'm going to cut the video once again and fill in the exact same stuff with the glass panes and the blocks now. All right, so I went and copied it over. These panes I placed, and I'll place these ones as well, because I think by default the tube from that spawning platform is just going to make that there anyways. So in line with that, what we can do is bring down the tubes from this one down to here, and it's literally just going to extend this up. Like, essentially what we're going to do is on the corners, at the very least, we are going to bring it all the way up, and it's going to be terrible time. And mainly what we're going to do is just do the entire, like, ring. So first we make the ring. And we just have to make sure that we don't cut off the golems on these sides. Golems are almost 3 blocks tall, so I just use 3 blocks as their height, just because it's a little bit easier to keep track of. Just in case like they float or something, then it is easier. But I think in this case we can get away with actually being taller. Like, there's no reason why we can't just let them out earlier. I think in this case we can maybe go down to the level that the walls are at. Like, if we do this, I'm sure it's fine. I'm just like paranoid. In fact, I think we could do this and it'd still be fine. I definitely haven't done this before, so I'm now making a decision. You can leave it as 1 high. So like there's a gap like between the walls. There's a 1 block gap because they're still going to be stuck on this as they're falling, so they can't like get out, you know. But then if they're floating through this, they can get through faster. So then we'll bring it up. And yeah, the funnel, I probably should have said this at the beginning. The funnel is a lot less restrictive in how you build it. The blocks, like the glass panes, are like really the only important part because they're the right size. But other than that, you can basically build it however you want. Like, you can make it wider if you wanted. You can't make it shorter. Like, you can't make it less wide, but you can make it wider. And the same rule here, where the walls up here will leave a block as a buffer. Maybe in this case we'll build this wall all the way up anyways. So whatever. We'll bring this one down same way. But yeah, the funnel is a lot less restrictive. Like, these could be colored panes or something. This block can be whatever you want. The spawning platforms and like the villager things are more restrictive. So then again, the wall, am I missing a pane there? I'm totally missing a pane there. Okay. And the wall's one up from the wall. And then these 3 just go all the way up because they're on the edge and they don't matter anyways. And they should connect. Yeah, cool. Okay. Faster if I do 1 row or column at a time. Okay. This will be the same process as the other side. Mainly, if you don't think you built it the same way I did, the test is to just like wait for some iron golems to spawn, which you can do if you've already done the zombies and stuff, and just make sure that they can get through. I'm actually going to test it again myself because I want to make sure that they can get through. So if we have 1 here, like, yeah, they're fine. Making sure that they can get through this one, so they're totally fine. And then making sure that if I spawn 1 here, they can also get through, which they should be able to. Yeah, so we're good. So that's the test. Making sure that they can get through it and making sure that they don't get stuck, which would be, you would realize, but also just like make sure that there's no gaps that are 3 blocks tall. Like, this might let them get out potentially, but because we only leave a 1 block gap, there's no way for them to like get through. So what we want to do is make this tube on the other side, this side over here. And then the middle, which I will do in a second, will be basically the same thing, but it'll just be more symmetric. So I'm going to do that tube now just to cut it out, and then I'll do that tube after. All right, so this tube is done. Now we're going to do the middle. The middle is going to be slightly different, and I think we work bottom up. So what we want to do is go to the very center, and you might, if you did the water blocking like I did, you'll have an actual center block. We're going to go down 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this 5th block is actually going to be a floor. And what we want to do is do, I don't have it in my inventory, but we want soul sand. And we want soul sand in the middle 3x3 block. So like, this is the middle block here. We're going to do 3x3 of soul sand. And then we're going to use any block that you want, and do a ring around that for a total of a 5 by 5. Okay. So we have something that looks like this. What we want to do is bring this up to the floor. I like making corners and then I use glass in the middle, but it really doesn't matter what you use. I'm going to do 3 walls so that we can place signs and stuff. And I forgot to do these corners. Okay. Okay. I'm going to fill this in glass. The soul sand does matter. You do need that. The other blocks are just aesthetic. They can be whatever you would like. Okay. So now 2 blocks up. So on the second level, we want to place 9 signs. And this is to block the lava flow that we're going to put on top of them. If you hold shift, you can place signs on top of other signs, and we can block off all of them. For some reason, like signs, like wooden signs, and I'm very grateful for this, they don't burn with lava, but things like gates do. So that's why I'm using signs instead of like gates or something. Then we can hold shift again, and we can place lava in the middle. If you're in survival, you might want to do that like up here or something. I might have to replace it because I don't think it's gonna flow now. Maybe. Okay, yeah, all right, we're good. Okay. So we have this. So now from here, what we want to do, I'm just gonna block off all of the water so that we don't have any issues with the water killing our lava. So I'm gonna block off the water there. I'm gonna block off the water up here, further up. So what we want to do is bring up these corners, all the way up. All the way up to this wall, the edge of this wall. And you don't need corners on this. I like them, but we're going to build this like kind of 5 by 5 structure all the way up there. So you go up to that, we go up to here, and now we have to clear out basically all of the blocks in the middle. So I'm sorry for that. We have to kill some glass panes. So get rid of these, get rid of those blocks, we get rid of these ones, we get rid of these ones. And the reason we have to widen this middle one is because the throughput on a tube like this is not high enough for all of the iron golems to get through at the same time. So I ended up like, when I did that originally, and it ended up building up golems, and that was not good. Okay, so you should have, if you use corners, you should have a structure that looks like this, where you have like the glass panes, all 3 of them connecting to the corners here. What we want to do is, I think right here, this can just be glass. Again, this doesn't matter. I like glass so I can see into it. And then on here, we want to also place blocks, and we want to keep going with our like 1 up rule. So I'll place glass there. And then we do the same thing. We do 1 up, and then we place blocks there. And this is just so that they don't get blocked. Okay. So now with this, we need to place signs so that the water here doesn't flow into our lava and burn it or kill it or whatever. And in this case, we're going to place signs in front of both things. I think the easiest way is you place a sign on this side, and then you hold shift and you place another one in front of it so that the water gets blocked with that one. The same thing over here, and the water gets blocked with that one. We'll do the same thing up here where we place a sign on the edge. Whoops. And another sign, and then another sign. And this is so that the water doesn't go into the middle area. So I should be able to do this without our lava turning into obsidian, which would be really unfortunate. Okay. So now we can have all the water flow into that. We're almost done. We just need to connect this section with the rest of it. This can just be the exact same like glass pane tube as the other ones. So I will do this. I have this block here because I don't want the golems in my way, but that would be open. And we're going to bring this whole thing down, and I have to struggle to place more of them. And this just, you can connect to the like the same height just so that they don't accidentally fall on top of this. And just make sure you don't block these guys. So we'll do the same thing where like it'll be 1 up from the thing. So actually it'll be there because we go 1 up. Cool. Okay, let's do that. Oh, I cannot see anything with the sun. It's like real life when I'm driving. Okay. One more. On this side. And this will be the rest of the, like, this will be the last thing we have to do with the funnel, which is really convenient. After that, we're going to make a hopper system under the soul sand so that we are able to collect the iron and poppies that they drop. And I'll do that after I'm done placing panes. Okay. And yeah, the reason it's soul sand specifically down there is because it lets you grab things with hoppers, even though it is like a full block. For some reason, like entities go further down into it, and then that lets you collect items from it. Okay, so we just bring the tube down. There's one block in between it that's open. Okay, so now under the soul sand, I'd recommend just like building yourself a little platform so that you can orient the hoppers in the right direction. So I'm just gonna do this for myself. So what we want to do is first get a hopper, and then, so the direction that your AFK room is in, which is this direction for me, we want to have hoppers facing into the room. So this will be our wall. And we can see the outline down there. So this is like that 5x5 down there. So the room, which I'll just build the outline up here, we go 2 out, and then we go over, and then we go 2 out, and we go over, and this is just kind of like the outline. We want to bring a hopper into the room, facing in. So I'm just going to face one under the wall into the room. And you do this by placing the hopper like on the block or from the block that you want it to face into. We can hold shift and we can face them into each other. And we want this middle row to face into each other like that. And then the sides, we face into the middle. So in this case, all of the items will get funneled into this one hopper right here. And then we can get rid of this platform because we don't need it anymore. And we can just check that they're facing the right direction, which is a little dark, but they are facing into the middle, and then they go into this one block right here. I'm going to warn you, the next part of this tutorial, which is building the room, up here is going to look different because I recorded the original version where it was just a 3x3 glass pane thing. So if yours looks like this is correct. The next part of the video, it's going to look different. So I apologize for that. Before we make the room, let's just get the actual outline of the room. So this should be 7 blocks wide, and then we're going to go down another 8 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If everything is perfect, which it probably was not on my end because I miscounted it like 3 times. This, if you want to have 36 blocks, this should be your like actual ground. If it's not, I apologize for that. It also depends if you like had an extra block here or something, or I had an extra block there or something. So it should be very close to your ground. So we do that. It only really needs to go out 3 blocks. But I like to give myself a little bit extra space so I can stand. So I'm just gonna make the outline of this room. It can have windows and stuff. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. But it makes building the hoppers and getting them oriented in the directions that we want to be a little bit easier. So then, whoops, we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 again. And I'm just gonna fill this in a little bit. I'm gonna fill in this wall, and then I'm gonna fill in the other wall. And again, this is just, it's easier to have the blocks so that we can do our room. We're gonna make an auto sorter, and then we're gonna make 2 auto crafters that allow us to craft blocks out of the bone meal and the iron ingots. And the auto sorter is to separate those 2 things. And I think it is very handy. It's optional. You could just dump everything to a chest, and that's perfectly fine as well. All right. Okay. So this hopper here is facing outwards. We want to place one that's facing to the left. So we place one that faces to the left by placing it on a block. And actually, we're gonna do 2 more of those. So in the corner here, like this is your corner of the room. So in the corner, we place 2 more hoppers, and then I have to hold shift. So they're all facing to the left here. We'll place another one that faces down like that. All of this will make sense in a minute. I'm just going to work top down because it's easier to just do it and then explain after. I'm going to place furnaces on top of all of the open hoppers so that they A, don't accidentally grab items that I don't want, and B, it makes it more lag friendly for your world because it stops them from like checking for the items above the hopper. So it just makes it a little bit more lag friendly, which is nice. Okay, so in the middle, we want to place a hopper that's specifically not facing down. So I just face it into that block. And then we place another hopper that does face down, like that. And now we make an auto sorter. So the way you do that, I'll just show it, is we want a bunch of poppies. So if you don't have a bunch of poppies, you could basically just let it run from this point on. Like go unblock your zombies and stuff and just like have it do it, and it won't sort any of your items, and you'll end up with a bunch of poppies and iron in the same spots. So you need a bunch of poppies to do the filter, and I'm like an insane person, can't find them. Okay, so in this hopper, and I'm going to break this one for now. I apologize for that. So we're going to do 3 across these right 4 slots. And then I'm just going to put the rest of my poppies in here. I forget about how many exactly you need. I think it's 10 on the left one. So you'll need 24 poppies. So you do that. I'm just going to place the whole stack in there. And then on the other side of the quartz, and I'm going to break this just so I can see what I'm doing. We are going to, so if this is the hopper that we put the poppies in. So we have this block here. We're going to place 1 block down, and we're going to do a comparator that faces away from the wall. Like that. So it faces away. We do another block here. We go down and we place a block diagonally. We place another block down diagonally from that. And then we have the block here. And then this block right next to it has to be open. So just to give a show of what that looks like on the wall. So that's what that'll look like. What we do then is in front of the comparator, we put redstone dust, and then we do a redstone repeater facing into this block. And then we place a redstone torch facing up into that block. That's that's like 1 down from this hopper. This is pretty much the only way you make an auto sorter. And this is just so that we can filter the poppies from the iron so that we can do whatever we want with it. So now what I'm going to do is place this hopper down again. And what I like to do is I take, and you don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is just what I like to do. I have no reason to have a lot of poppies, so I like to just make it into bone meal. So I'm going to make it into bone meal. You can see that it's taking out the excess poppies that I put in there, and it stops with 10 and 3 in all the other slots. And then under the composter, we place a hopper that faces to the right. I take it back. We face it down. I need to look at my screenshot on my other monitor better. So we face it down under the composter. And then under that, we place a crafter that's facing to the right. Like this. And that is on top of the hopper that you just placed. So in this case, what we do is we can place a hopper that faces down. And then we place, and this is because the crafter, when it crafts an item, it'll shove it into a container if it's in front. Which is in this case, the hopper. This is an open hopper, so I'm placing a furnace on top of it. And then we go into the corner. I need to make this longer. Okay. We face 2 hoppers facing to the right. And then I make another hopper facing to this block. And this block will be our chest. Okay. So essentially what I've done is I made an auto sorter here. And we have a crafter to take any bone meal that the composter makes. And it's going to make us bone blocks. Because it will make you a lot more bone meal than you probably will need. So the bone blocks just allows you to condense it by 9 times. These are open, so I put furnaces. And I'll place the wall. We have not done the actual crafter thing yet. We'll do that in a minute. I'm going to do this side first. And we're going to do the same thing basically for the iron ingots to iron blocks. Because again, it makes you so many that it's just better to transport iron blocks. And it's just easier. So what we're going to do now is we're going to face this crafter down, which you can just do by that. And you can see if the front is facing down like that. We're going to put a chest here. And this is because if we put a hopper here, the hopper will pull the ingredients from the crafter before they actually have a chance to craft. So we need literally any other container here that can carry a iron block. I think a chest is fine. And then what we want to do, and I'll just place the chests. We're going to place a bunch of double chests here. And then we face hoppers into them individually like this to the left. So they all face into those chests. So we should have a system that looks like this. Definitely make sure that your hoppers are all facing the right direction. It'll probably be obvious if they're not later down the road. Like if something's not going somewhere it should be, just double check your hopper directions first. Okay. So now what we want to do is, I think I'll fill this in just so that I can show you how I find the holes. So now we need to make it where the crafters actually craft items for us when we want. So what we want to do is go find where this crafter is, which is this block, I think. Yes. So the back of that, we do the same comparator thing that we did before, where we put a comparator facing away from the crafter. And then what we want to do is build 9 blocks that circle around back to this block right here. So the way I did that was I went around. Sorry, I went like this. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What I did then was I placed, so basically you'll have a loop that looks like this, is all. That's all you have to do. And then you place redstone dust on the outer edge of that around until you get to this corner. We're going to place repeaters here. And what this does is the comparator will read the number of slots from the crafter. And we want iron blocks, right? So we want it to trigger when all 9 blocks are filled, or slots are filled. So it'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then when it reaches 9, the repeaters push it into this opaque block. It has to be opaque. And then we put a block next to this that has redstone dust on it. So I'll just show you what this looks like. Essentially, it'll wait for the crafter to fill up. And then when it does, it'll trigger the crafter to craft something. So if I put blocks up there, we'll see that this fills up and we'll watch it trigger and it will craft us a block that'll go all the way to the bottom. So that's essentially what that's for. This is just to get it in a way that doesn't open you to the outside world any more than you have to be. So that this is really this like block right here is really the only opening because I'm really paranoid when I'm playing hardcore worlds. I'm also going to put a lever here. And this is so that you can disable the crafter. What'll happen is you'll saturate the crafter, and it will essentially not let you craft anymore. Be careful, if you turn on the lever, it will craft what's ever in here, like whatever is in here. So if there's like 6, it'll make your iron bars or something, so just be aware of that. But this is just like if I don't want it to craft more stuff, I'll take all of the iron out and I'll just pull the lever. What we want to do now is do the exact same thing on this side, except for the other direction. So we go to the other side. We place a block 1 below the crafter. We place a comparator facing away. This has items in it, which is why the back torches are on. And then we do the same kind of loop, which I think goes off. I think we want to go with the left. And we go 1, 2, 3, and we make a loop like that. We place redstone dust all the way up until this diagonal corner here. 2 repeaters. And this is just to extend out into this block. We go on the inside, and then we place the redstone dust here, and then we do the lever. And I'll just test to make sure that works by putting bone meal into the crafter. So we have 8, but then if I place 1 more, it should craft it. And then again, you can saturate it like that and it'll just keep it on so it won't craft any new items. And yeah, so that is essentially all you need. Of course, you should finish building this building because, you know, having a like walled in like area would be nice. This like room, other than all the redstone stuff, can be whatever you want. Like windows might be nice so that you're not in a dark dungeon room. Unless you want that, then that's totally cool. Then, yeah, so fill that room in. roof and everything. You don't have to have any, there's no special requirements for the roof. You can just place blocks wherever you want. I sometimes I like to make a window here so that I can see up into the funnel. You can kind of see that it's working. Like you can see some iron golems coming down, so that's kind of nice. But essentially that's it. I will test it real fast, but that's all you need. And in that case, you have an auto crafter that crafts you iron blocks and bone meal. You have an auto sorter to separate the poppies and the iron before that happens. And then you have a whole bunch of iron golem spawning techniques that will come down into a single killing chamber. All right, guys, that'll be it for this video. I hope that despite all of my many mistakes, which I apologize for, you're able to get through it and build everything to your liking and in ways that don't impede on any of the like weird villager mechanics. If you have any issues, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll do my best to help you debug or whatever. And if screenshots are necessary, then we have a Discord server you can use for that. I hope you have a wonderful day and I hope to see you next time.